If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear.
Well, hello, you gorgeous mother truckers, you, and welcome to another video. Been a while since I did a long form one, but been busy. It's also half term, so we grab the opportunities when we can. For instance, like this morning, I did a short talking about Andrew Lawrence, the comedian who, most likely for a lot of people said the wrong thing at the wrong time. Trying a bit of gallows humour, one would say. And in that quick short, I basically said that it has shown a lot of people who claim to be about free speech, it shows their true colours. It's free speech as long as it doesn't upset them. And that's the way it is. But there are more interesting things about the Andrew Lawrence situation, which is what I decided to do a little bit of a longer video on it. And it will all tie into the whole Liverpool incident. The amount of anger, upset, outrage for a ill-timed joke is literally biblical. Andrew has responded with his own video, and to be fair, he did it in his own style, and I have to agree with him. If you've got thin skin, it is what it is. Especially for somebody who comes from Birmingham, and my city is the butt of many, many, many jokes. Most of them justified, but some of them aren't. But because some comedian goes along and insults my town, I don't go mental and threaten to do this, that, and the other. Because, you know what? It's a joke. It's humour. As I said earlier in the little shorts, which will be linked, and vice versa, that'll be linked to this one. Comedians have a history of doing these things, and it happens. But the fact that you got all this against Andrew Lawrence about what he said, and then the actual outrage, anger, upset about what actually happened is minuscule. I wonder why that is. You see, if you can get angry to the stage where you want someone cancelled because of what he said, but it was just words, but then are silent over the fact that a white British male, which of course the media and the government and the police have gone to great pains to make sure that you know this. And then, of course, Narinder Kaur, the great race baiter of all, comes out with her bullshit. And everybody comes. I even had Muslims coming on X going, oh, well, you know, you got to think of our lot when no one even mentioned Muslims, because no one did. No one. If you look, no one did. No one did. Well, other people just went, here we go again. And therefore, people then presumed that's what they meant. A lot of presumption and assumption in the world that we live in, is there not? So, apparently, he's 53 years old. The picture of the driver, that's very debatable. And as I said in a previous short that I did on it as well, is the fact that the police are blatantly lying. They are absolutely lying, because they said that he tailgated an ambulance through the cordon, but there was 4 cars in front of him. So that would beg the question, as I did in the short, which was, you didn't even have a cordon really, did you? And you just try and grasp at any straw to drive. Now, video has emerged of him driving normally and even braking for somebody who walks out in front of him. That's not the actions. Yeah, but that's because that wasn't where it was supposed to happen, was it? And I said right on the day it happened that something was very, very, very off with this. And the police's continual lying isn't helping the matter. You see, they wouldn't release any details about the Southport killer because it would prejudice the trial. Yet they were, within 2 or 3 minutes of him being arrested, straight out, white British male from Liverpool. Well, Axel Rudabakani was a black, British, Welsh choir boy from Cardiff. Remembering that it's the same police force. So you can see where people are coming from. Again, this isn't speculation because we're not allowed to speculate. What I'm doing is using something called critical thinking, having a look at stuff and putting things together. Because at the moment, the police are going 2 + 2 and coming up with 5 somehow. I don't know how. So you can understand when you rush out immediately to say it's a British white man, because you don't want any, and like, you know, old Narinda race baiting cur, the country hating bint that she is, comes out. Mate, it was to stop a riot. There wouldn't have been a riot. There wouldn't have been a riot, would there? Because you'd already got the narrative in place. You see, we all now know, and the police have just done it blatantly, that there is anti-white racism in the police. Because as soon as you hear something has happened and the police are looking for a suspect, and they won't say who that suspect is, won't give you a description. And I've covered this many, many times. Back in my day, if something happened, they released a description of the person. So you, as a member of the public, could either recognise them, report them to police, or recognise them and keep away from them because they're idiots. But now we don't get one. Well, until it's white. And then, of course, that isn't a problem. So we have a man now who has lived in an area, they've named the area, again, remembering that nothing was released for anything Axel Rudabakani at all, because it might prejudice the trial, but now apparently we know the area he lives in, the price value of his house, the fact that he was all over social media talking about his hobbies, and everybody's stunned and shocked in the neighbourhood, yet no one in the neighbourhood has said anything. And a lot of people who live in that area say, well, if he did, we'd know him, and nothing's coming out. No name has been released either. Now, the point being is the fact that people, if you're describing, again, by prejudice, if you're going by your previous ones, by telling people his social media habits, how much his house is worth, the fact he was married and got 3 kids, and blah, 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 you're releasing a lot more information than you ever normally do. Because he's white. Because this feels like, to me, that this narrative has already been put in place. Some would say this might be one of my what-ifs. Potentially, it could be. But don't you find it funny that this narrative has come out really quick, as if it was already pre-planned? Yet any other example, silence. It's radio silence. Again, not speculating, analysing the statements that there are, and histrionics. History shows that up until now, nothing gets said unless they're a white man. Now it happens, all of a sudden, we've got shit to say. Okay? It's not speculation. Don't you find it odd that a guy dressed in black, when the car came to a halt, which the reason it came to a halt, and this is something that isn't being picked up on, is the fact that it couldn't go any further because there were 4 people trapped underneath it, because it was a sick and violent and vile attack. A guy runs up and rips the number plate off the car. Everybody else is trying to get in the car and smash windows. But this particular guy, dressed all in black, his sole focus of his attention is to rip the number plate off the vehicle. Look at the videos. You can see it. But of course, that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. It's a statement of fact. He came in, everybody else is trying to get to the driver and attacking the car. He come in very low level. If you watch, he's very low level. He's not like everybody else. And he's laser focused on getting that number plate off, which is a weird thing to do. to get back at somebody who's just run a load of people over is I'm going to show him how angry I am by ripping his number plate off his car. But of course, not speculation. A statement of what I saw with my Mark 1 eyeball, and so everybody can see it. Because apparently a lot of people, when I did my first video, I was speculating. No, I was telling you what I'd seen with my own eyes and how it looked to me. Mark 1 eyeball, yeah? Then, when he gets dragged out of the car to be put into the police van, conveniently, the guy who was filming it filmed a guy lying on the floor getting arrested by the police for trying to drag the driver out. Then it whips up just enough to see the back of a policeman pushing me into the police van, door shut, gone. And you don't think that's a bit weird? You see, if I was there filming it, I wouldn't be interested in somebody lying on the floor getting arrested for doing something that most normal human beings would try and do. I would be concentrating solely on getting a good video of the guy who did the thing, the attack, whatever you want to call it. But no, we have to get distracted. Funny that. Very weird. Very, very weird. But then again, only saying what I can see with my own eyes and what happened. So no one actually saw the guy get pushed into the van. Now, some are saying he had combat trousers on, which if you look at the videos, you can see he's definitely wearing a pair of combats. He also has a very high and tight cut, but that doesn't mean anything. I have my hair short. It doesn't mean anything. And some people are saying he had a radio, a walkie-talkie on his lap. Again, unconfirmed. Not speculating, reporting what people are saying. And I've just said, there's no evidence to back that up. You can't see. The camo trousers, for a shot when he's got the door open, you can see he's wearing camouflage trousers. So that's a statement of actual fact. Mark 1 eyeballs. So the whole of this happens. And then he said, the line which everybody seems to go is, he was a crackhead whizzing his tits off on drugs. Okay, so we'll go for the whizzing his tits off on drugs line. And then we can go back to the video where he's driving normally and manages to brake not to run somebody over who runs right out in front of his vehicle. Not the actions of someone whizzing his tits off on drugs, do you not think? But of course, we have this narrative that he's a 53-year-old white British guy who was high on drugs at the time, who tailgated an ambulance in behind to get into the sealed off area, but somehow managed to be in the fourth in a traffic jam. Weird. Any case, I'm only saying what you can see, not speculation. See, it's very important to have to keep saying that because the police don't want you to speculate. I'm not speculating, as I said again. I'm just telling you what I could see with my own eyeballs. And asking, why is there inconsistencies? Shall we say that? Not lies. Inconsistencies in what the police have said. So he drives off, he panics. Okay, so we'll take that bit that he's panicking because people are attacking his car. Someone said somebody smashed his rear window. Well, that's because he just reversed into somebody and tried to knock him over. Okay? But we'll take it that somehow he tailgated the ambulance in, ended up fourth in a traffic jam of vehicles who didn't, or must have tailgated the same said ambulance. Okay, and he drove off because someone tried to get into it and he drove off. Okay, fine. He drove off. Now, if you watch the video, he drives off, he hits a couple of people. Okay, so that's probably him avoiding. Then he actually goes into an area where there is no one standing, slows down, turns the wheel, accelerates, and piles into a pile of people stood on the other side. He didn't need to do that. He could have just sat where he was in the clear. Mark 1 eyeball. I mean, we had the line. I mean, and this shows you that this is a lie in progress. He was drunk and he got out because look, he was in Hooters and the car's just by Hooters. Well, one, the picture they showed wasn't the actual car. He was an undercover police car that was parked there. And two, if you actually watch the video, he drives past Hooters. So he got out of Hooters, which he would have stayed in all night sleeping, I guess, because the road was closed on the early hours of the morning. Walked past all these people, jumped into a car, and then drove through a load of people that he just walked past. You see, the narrative isn't working. Their narrative is 53-year-old white, local businessman, local white guy, got a kid, No one is expecting him to do it, and he's a crackhead. And that's the narrative. Oh, and he panicked. Yeah, I get it. You would panic to get away. But watch the video, which I'm not going to put up here because I'll get told off again, because you're not allowed to do that. You know, the video that actually shows what I'm saying is true, is he gets into a clear area where there aren't people. And he slows right down, then turns the wheel to the right and accelerates. That's not the actions of someone who's panicking. Continues. He doesn't slow down and then steer into people. Just saying. But of course, I'm sure I'll get vilified for that and call everything under. I mean, I got called a conspiracy theorist when I put the video out first on that something wasn't right about this. So there still isn't something right about this. We know where he lives. We know how much his house costs. We know he's got a family, but no one seems to know who he is, and no one can release a name or a picture at all. Because he was charged with the offence. Somebody said, no, he was arrested. No, the police came out and said he's been charged with, but then they need more time to interview him. Because if he's been charged, give us a name. But why won't you give us a name? Because you know, as soon as you give us a name, people are going to check. You see, they know this now. They're learning that as soon as they say something, I mean, as soon as they said Axel Rudabakani, yeah, all the information you need to know about that particular scumbag was instantly available. And they don't like that because they can't control the narrative. And what they're worrying about is, yes, he may be, and I said this before, he may be white, he may be British, but it doesn't mean his parents were born here. And everybody goes, oh, he's a white Christian man. His religion hasn't been said. Because we're going for the white Christian. He must be a Christian man. Well, again, religion hasn't been announced. Now, if they're not saying he's a Christian man, because that would help fit their narrative, that asks the question, what is his religion? Axel Rudabakani was a second-generation immigrant. I'm just stating the fact. Something isn't right. The truth will eventually come out. But after all of that, the indignation and anger and ire and cancel this man for somebody who cracked a badly timed joke. Yet this, which doesn't make any sense, from all these people, radio silence. Surely that should make you think as well. Any case, 2 videos coming up at the end of this one. One will be the last one I uploaded. The other one will be the chosen one. The one that God of YouTube with its mighty algorithm picked just for you. If you agree with what I'm saying, you can like, you can share, you can hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a penny. Ding the magic bell, lets you know you got notification, and the job's a good one. And you will then be in the little wonderful community that we've got right here, right now. Any case, enough of that. I'm done. So, ways to support the channel down below. And until the next one.
Spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun.